We are going to be working with OBS, or Open Broadcaster software today. OBS is a great free software for screen recording, streaming, and much, much more. There are a few areas that you will need to know about in order to get started. First off, the Scenes panel. This is where you will build a folder to hold the sources you are going to add. You can do this by hitting the plus sign and removing them with the minus sign. I like to name mine with good naming conventions, so perhaps we will label this one Code Screencast. Next is the Sources panel. This is where we will add the sources such as the display capture and maybe a mic if you have one. If not, your computer's audio will work just fine. I'm going to add an external Yeti mic and a display capture today. You could also use a window capture, but since I would like to show my working application and my code, a display capture works best for this situation. You will notice that there is an audio mixer and a scene transitions panel. We will not be using these for this application other than to mute the desktop audio if you have added an external mic. Finally, we have the controls panel. This is where we will find our controls to start streaming, recording, or making a virtual camera. We are going to use the Start Recording button today. Let's get started with adding a scene and our sources, then we will talk a little about why we are making a screencast in the first place. First things first, let's add a new scene to the Scenes panel using the plus button. I will call this scene Code Screencast as I will be using it to record all of my code reviews. Then, click OK. Next, we will be adding a display capture. Using the plus button, a menu of different types of captures will pop up. Select Display Capture. I will be renaming mine Primary Monitor as I have two screens. You will notice this already exists as I am using OBS to record this screencast, but let's make another just to show you how it works. Then, click OK. You will see a new window pop up where you can choose your display. I chose Primary Monitor, which is my second screen. Then click OK. Now I am going to add the audio input for my Yeti mic. Using the plus button, select from the menu the audio input option. As I am currently recording, you will see it is listed already, but let's create one so you can see how it's done. I will name this Yeti Blue because you can't have two names that match. Click OK, and you will be brought to a new window. Choose your audio input from the drop-down and click OK. You will see the new audio input in the audio mixer section where I have already muted the desktop audio. You can see the Yeti mic working already. You may be asking, why do I have to do a code review? Honestly, it's so that you understand the code. It's more about you than it is the mark. Much like adding commenting to your code, it's a way to make sure that you're fully grasping the concepts you have learned. Let's take a look at some code I have from a Maker Night and we'll do a simple review on it. Okay, so I have my files open, my HTML, my JS, and my CSS. As you can see, I do have some notes in here. I love putting comments in my code, it's really important. I split everything up with my comments. Here's something that I learned that made my life easier, which was using lorem 100 to populate the ipsum. That took a lot of time off of trying to go find it, and then I do have each one of my sections labeled as nested cards or whatever they are. Here is my JS. As you can see, I talk a little bit about what the JS is doing. So this is our blueprint. It will define our method and properties. And then the next part is building a skeleton. It's going to be an alert function that's going to pop up. So as you can see, this is how my alert function is going to be used, and I'm using my properties there. And then here I am doing fill in the blanks. So this is instantiation of my object. And then finally, we are going to call the fun, aka my function. Then here's my CSS, which I'm using my own personal CSS as well as Bootstrap. I have chosen to call them my call 1, and my background, and noted what I'm styling at the time. And as you can see, here they are in my code. So my background, my call, just allows me to know what is mine and what is Bootstrap's, and it makes it a lot easier for me to get through my code that way. Let's start and look at the application. So we're going to click go live here, amazing live server. My alert is popping up and letting us know what to do. And then of course, here we go. Here's my application and it is functional and running. And that is it. That is how you do a code review. First, start with your code. That's the most important part. And then show your application at the end. All right. Thanks, guys. Good luck.